Welcome back to the Pergamon campaign. As always, we're going to jump straight in and see if we can't conquer some land here. But first, we've got to make a decision which direction we want to go. So the options we have, because right now we're friendly with everyone to our south, except this one city, but obviously our friends in the south are pushing the Seleucids out of their territory. Directly east we have enemies. Northwest we have friends, and northeast we have friends, and northwest we have allies. So we can either run through our allies' territory and start to try and do a land grab up here, which creates a split empire, so that's probably not my go-to. We can betray our allies to the south and move south, or we can betray these guys and go north. I don't want to go east because then it creates just a really long front where we could be attacked anywhere along here, basically as we're moving throughout. So I'm actually thinking our best play right now is to turn on Bosphorus and start grabbing some of this land. What that'll allow us to do is we can push up to this border, and that'll be essentially bordered with some of our allies, so we won't have to worry about that front very much. Even if we do, we can always post an army up there to play some defense. And then we can wrap around, get to maybe around here, and at that point we can push east and south at the same time and wrap up this eastern portion of the map. And from there we can probably push through Africa. But I think that's the plan I'm going to go for, because it's always about world domination, not about having friends.
Ready for battle.
So let's see where we are at. These guys could do with a little bit more replenishment, but generally speaking they're healthy.
We hunger for battle. Commander.
These guys could do with some better archer units because this is my siege army. So if I'm going to keep these units anyway, I may as well...
Our path is blocked.
If I'm going to keep these mercenaries anyway, I may as well move them forward and put them in the army where they'll be more valuable.
Ready for orders.
But before we go crazy and start attacking Samaria, we want to build up our strength a little bit again. I don't want to go quite that far southeast, so I won't worry about these two cities. I'm just going to push through here and cut Samaria off at this front.
Ready for battle. At your command.
Now, how are we going to do this? Have a decent amount of money in the bank. I think our public order is a bit of a problem right now, though. Okay, our city can be expanded, so let's do that instantly. Sanitation looks fine, so let's go for some money. We can either go for money or public order there. We get a little bit of money out of public order if we go with the amphitheater, but we can make that decision when when this first building actually gets finished. Over here, public order's in the positive, so we don't need to think about that too much. These cities, I don't really want to upgrade them yet because we don't quite have the food to handle it, and we don't quite have the public order buildings to handle it either. So we're just going to wait on upgrading these. I really need the population, but we're going to wait on that. Down here, food is great, but public order is not. So I'm not going to upgrade these. This one I can upgrade because it just takes food, so let's go ahead and get the market town. Sanitation should be totally fine in this region, or in this province. Okay, the other main thing we need to do is try and Confederate Roads because they have land that would unify some provinces for me. So I think I'm going to try and get a confederation with Rhodes before I declare war on Samaria. So why don't we check and see what our diplomatic standing is here.
What then do your noble
If I
people
remember right, they
desire
were
of us?
close to accepting a confederation, but just not quite there. Okay, it looks like they've actually moved away from it a little bit. Is there anything we can do to get closer to a confederation with them? Maybe by making friends with these guys? Who are these guys?
My master extends the most magnificent welcome to you.
Okay,
and
we
your
could probably get a
honorable
decent
people.
amount of money
What
out of
wisdom
them
do you bring?
if we got trade. So let's go ahead and get trade. We're not going to
I
make a
came
ton of
as a
money out of
subject,
this trade
And
agreement,
the gods have granted you.
but since we're going to be moving north, I don't want to attack them yet anyway, so we may as well have some income from it.
Please
And then,
visit
since they are a
and
military
take one
ally
to
of
prove the
Rhodes,
head
let's see.
before we hit the
I'm not going to go for any of those other treaties just yet, because I'm confident I can get them, but I'd like to get some money out of them as well.
Greetings, friend. Greetings. Will you have wine, fine olives, or
There's not really
agreeable
anything
talk?
we can do here except maybe throw some money at them, so why don't we try that? Let's give them a gift.
You speak with wisdom and grace.
Let's see.
We accept and embrace your offer.
Gifts given to Rhodes, plus 25. Okay. We'll let that sit for a turn and see what happens. Alright, so it looks like this turn is mostly taken care of. Not really much going on yet. Just trying to get public order stabilized, trying to get our economy back up and running. We have enough money that we should probably start recruiting another army as well. But I'm going to hold off on that for another turn or two. Okay, let's give her some more food stealing capabilities, and then put her somewhere where she can actually steal food. Plus we can get some line of sight and figure out where the Sumerian armies are. Alright, next turn.
Your worthiness would be renowned
Defensive
throughout
Alliance, they
Pharaoh's
don't
court.
have any
Blessed be his brow, if you were to be generous.
military or defensive alliance with Rhodes, so I'm not sure that doing anything further with them would be beneficial. However, since I'm planning on attacking north, having a stronger southern border would be helpful. They're also friendly with Rome, so that is a good sign. So I think I can accept this. I bet if I remove the payment, they will not take the agreement, so I'll just go ahead and pay them, that's okay. Again, that's just securing my southern border so I can put all of my military force to the northeast.
Gold
We really don't need a defensive alliance with them. We're good enough friends that I'm not concerned about them anyway, and they're not particularly strong. I mean, it's a strong faction, but they haven't built themselves up very well this particular campaign.
What I ask is such a little thing,
How
and
about we
inconsequential thing,
change the
that
deal
I
here?
almost hesitate to mention the amount.
Okay, no, let's just not accept that yet. Our loyalty's pretty good, so let's get some influence, why not? Alright, now over here, we've had a rebellion. We'll go ahead and let our actual proper army deal with it to get them some experience. I mean, it's not going to get them much, but it'll get them a little bit. No sense fighting that manually.
On the move! Commander,
Took a little bit of damage on these guys. It'll take 5 turns to get them replenished, but we're going to be waiting for a little while anyway. Why don't we go up here to a settlement that we have held for a while and see if we can get some faster replenishment up there.
advance! You have further orders?
Now we're down to a 3-turn replenishment rate for these guys. Still 5 for those slingers, but that's because so many of them are dead. Alright. Let's get these guys on down here. Pop both of them into the siege army.
We hunger for battle.
And since the siege army was missing 2 units after I merged some of them anyway, we don't need to switch them out. Now, these guys, I'm just going to disband and transfer that population into this city. I should pull the spy out of the army first, because I don't know if it'll disband her automatically as well. But now we've got a little bit of extra population base to start with here for our higher tier units, so we can get some replenishment, maybe even get some recruitment going sooner. Now, food looks good. We'll be upgrading food shortly anyway, so let's go ahead and upgrade the capital building. And this province will probably be my recruiting base for this campaign, so I'm going to get some military recruitment capacity here. I'm also going to start with some public order and religious conversion as well. The additional benefit is it'll give me some sanitation. Okay, we're going to have a rebellion next turn in Armasada, but we can pull these guys out of the settlement and that'll reduce the public order penalty. We can also have them patrol, which will reduce it further, so now we've avoided a rebellion. These guys I may as well have patrol for this turn just to get a little bit of extra income. And that's the only 2 military forces we have. So before we go spending our money, let's check on roads again.
I am eager to hear your
See if
embassy,
the odds have improved
inspired
over
as
here.
it undoubtedly is by the wit and wisdom of Athena herself.
Now, we did just confederate Knossos, so it's entirely possible that they can't accept it yet. But there we go. Okay, we have some provinces actually secured. Let's instantly get some edicts going. What does this province actually need? I think this province needs food, to be honest. We'll be getting a little bit more here. The other thing we could do with is public order and construction cost reduction. We shouldn't have much public order penalty from slaves. -10 is a little bit, but not a ton. Let's go ahead and get some growth going. And then Asia has been secured as well. Let's see, so let's get some growth going here. Now that has given us
To serve.
some extra units. We can also pick up a couple more, or not a couple more, but one more governor.
Ready for orders.
I don't think we need a navy, so let's just disband him. Okay, now obviously we're out of money, so we need to be really careful about economy for a little bit. But we've gained an extra couple of armies. Wait a minute.
Ready for
Yeah, I was going to say, these aren't my guys. The nice thing about this is I can transfer some population over. I don't actually really want this city. Because it's not providing me a ton of income, and just to maintain it, I don't want to keep an army down here. So I'm just going to pull these armies back. I don't think I'll be able to... Oh, I actually can move them this turn.
Ready for battle.
These guys have no movement range, but that's fine. We'll hold off on giving them any kind of leveling up until we figure out what kind of army we want them to be. But once they get back to friendly territory, we can disband them, and that will transfer a bunch of population
We hunger for battle. Commander.
so that we can start recruiting the units we actually want. Okay, it looks like Samaria has some pretty beefy armies for this early in the game, but they lack cavalry.
What do you wish of me? On the road again. At your service.
Ready for
Okay, I
battle.
can't recruit. Oh yeah, those guys I don't need to deal with. I can't recruit my other governor yet because I don't have any money. Okay, public order. Not good in Asia. Not good in Syria, but not too bad. Okay, so public order still pretty much across the board is deteriorating. I may even just disband. I wish you could abandon cities in this game. That would be really nice.
We hunger.
Because if I just like dismantle these buildings, then slums will get created and it'll take away a bunch of my food, and that would be annoying. Real quick, let's check with the Rhodian nobility that we took on. Loyalty with them is good. Our family is starting to grow. Our heir is starting to get a little bit older. Alright, let's just go on to the next turn. That's fine. And I've decided, since I like to get at least one battle per episode, with a half-hour long episode, that could be really, really difficult to do, especially because the battles tend to go about 20 minutes or more. I'm probably not going to bother with the shorter episodes like I had mentioned previously. There may still be a few short ones just because of my own time constraints, but
My ancestors have spoken.
I'm not going to shoot for short episodes. Okay, took some desertion from those guys in the desert, even though I thought they were on a road. Okay, we got a boost in money by having a province controlled directly. Minus 10 loyalty for 5 turns. That's
Ready for orders.
not good, but it's not horrible.
Make haste, men. Ready for battle. On the move. Waiting for orders.
Wait a minute, what the heck kind of general is that? Rhodian picked hoplites. Well, let's see. I probably want to put these guys in the capital of this region, or of this province.
Make haste,
The
men.
capital region of this province, so we'll wait for another couple of turns before we disband them. It might even be good to disband them up here instead.
We hunger for battle.
The main thing is we need to make sure public order is stable, because we can't handle rebellions while our armies are all out on the front line. Food looks pretty good in this province, but since we don't have any farms, I'm going to get more food going anyway. We really need public order here. So what can I do? Okay, let's dismantle this. I should have done it last turn, but let's dismantle that and build a temple there. And that will get us some much needed public order. Also in 2 turns we can build an amphitheater.
At your service.
Now, out here, since public order is obviously abysmal, and we want to get it into the positive, I think I'm going to put my newly recruited governor in this province. Cultural conversion would be great.
How can I serve you? My journey begins. At your command.
Yeah, it'll still be a while before we get any replenishment here, but we're not under immediate threat, so it's okay. This is another settlement that I would rather just abandon, because I just don't need it. And I can't just gift it to Egypt, unfortunately. Let's see.
Greetings.
So I could probably
want
get
peace?
peace with the Seleucids if I
Very
tried
well.
hard enough.
Wait, but
I'm going to go
I
ahead
give
and
you
get rid of my
welcome.
non-aggression with
let
these
Zeus
guys.
and all the... Perhaps you will find profit in setting aside our friendship. Although, for the life of me, I wonder where.
But I'll keep the trade for now because I don't think we'll be attacking for within 6 turns. The other thing I need to do is start recruiting, so let's pick a general. And I think I'll start recruiting back here, just so we can make use of our population base, because our population base here is the strongest, I think. So, who is going to be our next general? Alpheus, I think, can do the job. Let's just scroll through here and find him. Is that the correct Alpheus? Yeah, he's from the Attalid dynasty, so that's gotta be him. Go ahead and reinstate a force that's already rank 2. Okay, we'll pop him in the settlement just to get a little bit of a boost to replenishment. And then start recruiting. Now this army, I'm not quite sure what I want it to be made of. Elite Thureos spears, that would be nice. I may go with the spear army here because I've already got a phalanx army. And I need something that's a little bit more capable in, or a little bit more versatile, so I can use them in sieges or in field battles pretty effectively. The other thing I can get is Thureos swordsmen. These are not particularly good, but they're cheap. They come from a population that I have, my 3rd class population, which I have a lot of. Okay, we can start to get some skirmishing cavalry as well. I'm actually not going to start with the cavalry though, because cavalry's upkeep is more expensive.
Are you ready to serve?
Okay, so that's all of our money for this turn. I'm not missing any building slots that are just sitting open, am I? Nope. Alright, so that should be good. I still don't need to do anything with that because these guys just exist to get disbanded, so that's okay. The sooner I disband them, the better, because they are holding down quite a bit of my upkeep cost, or they're holding down a lot of my money in upkeep cost.
With all respect, you have a duty to join the war against
Nah,
these people.
I don't need a war with those guys. Okay, we got an extra 10 grand from having that mission completed, so it's actually good that we didn't disband those 2 armies yet, because they helped contribute to it.
Ready for orders.
Now, right here, they are actually within
On the
range
move.
to be in the the region of Antioch, so we can just disband them here.
Ready for battle.
These guys, I think I will. Oh, I should have done these ones, whatever. I'll move these guys up to Tushpa. It'll take them a while to get there,
Men,
but that's okay.
at your command. On the move.
I'm going to have these hoplites ready to kind of take the coast. Where's my other spy? Right here. Okay, let's just take a quick look around here. Alright, so they do not own that settlement. I want you to come back this way and get eyes on Armavir. I'll bring you back here for now so that I can see what's at the immediate front. Because it looked like they had an army in Armavir. So Armavir is going to be a bit difficult to take, but it'll be manageable. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of these light swords, very light melee infantry. Let's go ahead and pick up several spears. I might actually make this more of a cavalry-based army, so these swords will probably get transferred into the siege army. Because I'm going to need a lot of skirmishing power when I go up into the northeast. Okay, and then I dismantled a building at Rhodes. Let's get a temple on the go. Food is good in all of our provinces. Hellas is at 0, so it's balanced at least. Athens, I would prefer it if you went away, but at least they're not raiding anymore. Okay, now that we're not actively fighting in any of our provinces, public order should start to balance itself out naturally. We're still probably going to get a rebellion here, though. I'll just dismantle that for now. If rebellions happen in these cities, that's fine. The 10,000 and it has 2 units. If rebellions happen down here, I don't really care. I don't need this land right now. Now I am still at war with the Seleucids, so I need to be a little bit cautious of my southeast when I start to push up here. But for now, things should be fine. Loyalty has gone down quite a bit because of that event. It's a little unfortunate, but I doubt it is giving us a risk of secession. We'll spend some money to have this guy boost public order. Let's see, we'll do it in Asia because I think Asia is one of our higher earning provinces right now. So the sooner we can get it, yeah, it's definitely our richest province right now. The sooner we can get it up above 75 public order, the better. Still don't care about that.
It is a terrible thing
Definitely
to
not
spread war
going to do
across the
that
world.
yet. Now, I'm also not really going to think about confederating Sparta and Athens
lord
right now,
would
because
have
I
me
just don't
propose
really
a treaty
think
between
it
us.
is necessary.
And
Because at this point, I just need to hold down getting all kinds of missions finished all at once now, which is actually really good timing. Okay, let's make sure we're still in the positive on food. Okay, Parthia, I should probably get peace with as soon as I can, because they tend to be a very strong faction. Food is still in the positive everywhere. Public order obviously still a problem, but we're not going to worry too much about that right now. We can actually boost public order by upgrading that, so let's go for it.
Ready for orders.
Okay, we're nearly back up to full strength with the hoplites.
March. Is that all?
Let's go ahead and just bring them to the border and let them patrol. We're definitely going to have a rebellion here, but I think I'm just going to let it happen. I'll let this army go deal with it. So, I'm going to move this army kind of between the two cities so that they can at least prevent the rebellion from immediately taking one of these cities, because that's always really annoying. Public order looks great here, so let's not think too much about Syria just yet. Let's look at our main cities and get them upgraded first. Boost your income where it is highest, is kind of my opinion on these things. Don't worry so much about your low-end provinces, because they're just not going to make you much money anyway, and they're also usually not as secure. So what do I need here? I've got plenty of food, banditry is fine, sanitation should be good across the border. We can get more food quickly if we need it. So let's go for some money here. Actually, I could really do with some extra research rate, now that I think about it. Of course, also part of why the public order is positive here is because we just sent a dignitary or a diplomat or whatever. I also need to recruit my other... No, never mind. I thought I'd forgotten to recruit my other
The gods have
governor, but I
brought you
didn't.
to me.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and go with that for now. This army can also
Ready for
step
further orders.
out and start picking up some more soldiers. It would be good to have more siege capability.
Make haste, men.
Not really sure what units I want over here. Yeah, let's go ahead and pick that up for now. Do you know what? I actually... Well, that's as far as they can go. I actually kind of wish I'd kept them here and kept them recruiting, because the units in Nicomedia just really aren't very valuable. I'll go ahead and just pick up the one unit of artillery for now. Okay, there's still going to be several kind of boring turns. Get this guy deployed.
At your command.
Our spy up here can come around and give us some intel. Okay, so there's a lot of force around Armavir, and they are recruiting more. So, if we can have a decisive victory here, That should be most of their armies dealt with, and that'll free us up to make a really, really aggressive push against them. So we need to start aggressively building our forces out this direction.
Ready for battle. On the move.
This province is shaped really weird in this mod. Because I think in vanilla it's like this area instead of this area, but whatever. Okay, we should be starting to have a decent amount of population here, so we can maybe recruit another army down here as well. I'm not going to have him do it because we need to be able to send them gifts and send him on missions and things to boost their loyalty. So let's see, this guy's pretty young, he's already got some upgrades. I'll probably have it be this guy. Go ahead and give him some authority when he's leading an army, and then put him in charge of an army. So Strabo. There's our guy. Reinstate legacy and just hope we pick an army that already has a little bit of experience. Cretan citizen cavalry. They're probably not very good. Yeah, we're gonna go with the Pergamon companion cavalry. Although these guys are free. But no, we're gonna go with the good stuff here. Okay, we'll pick up some more skirmishing capacity so we can deal with the nomads, because they are a threat and I want to be able to deal with them with units that have some experience. This guy also has a bonus for units with spears, so we'll pick up some spears right off the bat. I don't really have a specific idea for how I want this army built just yet. But I'll sort that out in a minute. Right now I know kind of what units I want out here, so I'll just work with that. Obviously, as I'm recruiting, I'm driving my income down. You know what, I may actually keep this army together and just kind of use them as a meat shield when we first go in. Let them take most of the damage and then just disband them.
My wits.
Pike and hoplite, campaign movement range. And they currently have a ton of skirmishers. Let's just get them some extra skirmishing capability. Alright, that should be all for this turn, right? All of our forces are taken care of. Yep, let's go to the next one. Now I need to start thinking about ending my trade agreement with Samaria soon. Because I don't want the diplomatic problems that come from attacking someone who you have an agreement with. Not this early on.
Our merchants seek prosperity.
Well, I'm not going
in
to take
your
that
lands.
because Egypt won't like it. And I need Egypt to be my friend because they are my southern security. Alright. So rebellion has started. Let's go ahead and just deal with it.
At your command.
Alright, now let's start actually looking at planning an assault up here.
March some more.
My skill on the road again.
Ideally, we can separate these three forces and handle them on their own. This army does not look very intimidating at all. They have very light units with pretty low, well, relatively low morale. So these guys should be pretty easy to break. These guys, kind of the same thing. It's not even a full stack army. That army's not much of a threat. It's this one, the Cyclops Slayers, that we need to pay a little bit more attention to.
Ready for battle.
So how are we going to divide them? What I might do is wait for them to keep pushing against the Seleucids. Looks like the Parthians are going to take care of that, so I need to also get some diplomacy with the Parthians, but we'll handle that in a minute. Okay, what I think I'll do is try and kind of bait them into an attack on Tushpa.
Ready for battle.
Obviously this is still several turns away.
Waiting for orders.
Alright, let's get some Galatian chosen swordsmen, absolutely. We'll get as many of them as we can. Okay, so I'm thinking right now, this army is going to support this army. These two will support each other. This one will provide some reinforcements after the fact, so I'm actually going to hold off recruiting here because my income is starting to tank pretty heavily right now.
Make haste, men. Is that all? Faster,
Let's just let them patrol for now. Because before I start this war, there's I'm kind of debating back and forth between two things. One, I want to build my treasury as high as I can, versus two, I want to get as much infrastructure set up as I can along my borders so that I can come back and replenish, or I can have enough income to support recruiting more units.
Commander. Ready for orders.
But I need to get into diplomacy first and start ending things.
Welcome, welcome.
So we'll be
In the
losing
spirit of Olympian
127 gold
hospitality,
per turn.
I-
That's not
A lack of
a
your
problem.
goods. Whoa. Oh!
Greetings, my
Instead,
friend.
we'll see if we can get some
Greetings.
trade with
I
Parthia.
think with anticipation. I agree and
Get some
admire.
non-aggression with Parthia.
We
I really don't want to
humbly
pay them
ask
for it, though.
For a single, modest subsidy.
No, okay, we don't want it that bad.
We have the
But we've got things going the right direction now. Between Parthia and Egypt and Nabatea, the Seleucids are essentially no longer a threat. I would really like to take this off of Egypt, but that is a bad idea right now. There is nothing good about that idea if I were to just randomly declare war on Egypt for one city. Okay, everything looks pretty good out here, so let's do a more thorough check on all of our provinces. Food looks good, public order's not great, but we're getting some temples built up, so that'll be eased. Got plenty of food here. We're working on growth. The public order's in the positive because of our edict. I'd rather have it in the positive because of our buildings. I think this will give us public order in all provinces, so let's absolutely start that. This unlocks recruitment of some decent Cappadocian cavalry, it looks like. But I don't really need that just yet. Okay, things look good here. Could still use a little bit of public order help here, but it's not a major concern right now. Now here, absolutely, we want to start building this up because this province is going to be the one that sustains our offensive. So let's put as much money as we can into here. We're going to need extra food. We're going to need extra public order while we're at it. Why don't we go ahead and get this instead of just the public order focused? You know what? I built the temple for public order, so we may as well use it for public order instead of getting a little bit of a bonus to our fighting ability. Alright, so we're set to go. Did I already? I think, yeah, I'm recruiting with that army. That should be all we need to do this turn. Loyalty is low, but managed. So let's go on to the next one. It's really put me at ease that I've got some non-aggression going with Rome. Because Rome is so aggressive that they essentially declare war on everyone. But hopefully they just spend all of their time going after Carthage. We might have a ridiculous clash against Rome in the late game in this campaign.
I offer this in my lord's name.
That could be like our final battles, is taking on Rome. Of course, that's assuming they beat Carthage, which they might not. Oh no. That's annoying. See, in my brain I've already forgotten about these two cities because I just don't care about them. They're not essential to my success. Now what I could do here... What I could do here is switch these guys over to the coast, bring this army up to Coron. You know what? I'm actually going to bring these guys down this direction. Because that way I've got my two pretty decent armies. We can take on a lot of force at the same time with them. And then we can let this weaker army deal with this stuff. Let's go ahead and just slap an extra unit in here while we're at it. Don't really have any cavalry here. So let's pick up one of those guys. And then we can maybe let these guys work the coastline. I didn't realize that was already that army filled up. That's okay, they don't really need a ton of... I know I said I was going to build up skirmishing power and like skirmishing cavalry, but I really like to have... I wasn't expecting to see these pretty decent swords, so I'd rather pick up the sword units and get them to the front. This army can just kind of hang out for a while. We can rotate them up as necessary. Now let's see, what is going to help us in our campaign against Samaria? Minus upkeep cost and naval stuff. The naval stuff doesn't really matter, although against Samaria it could be very helpful because they can... Ooh, that's something I need to think about. They can actually very easily send fleets to attack our cities up here.
We hunger for battle.
Okay, well, new plan for these guys. These guys get to play defense.
We cannot do that.
Alright, so we'll have a small force, but that way at least we've got some cavalry. These cities should have at least semi-decent garrisons. Alright, so I think we're looking pretty well prepared for this assault. Let's start to go forward and get some further intel. You can just hang out at Armavir because we need to know where these two armies are. This is the army that's the main threat. There was a third full stack, wasn't there? Or a stack of 16 somewhere. Okay, we really need Parthia to deal with this army.
Ready for orders. At your command.
Alright. I think we're just about set to go against Bosphorus. I need to be a little bit cautious about what's going on with the Seleucids over here. Okay, more reforms are happening. I think those ones affect us, but I'm not 100% sure. Out of curiosity. Do we get any? Yes, we do. We can get some slightly better swordsmen. No, those are the same kind of swords. It's just grayed out, so I couldn't tell as easily. Alright, well, things look handled for now. Our income, or our money situation is not great. As we take some ground, we'll have to loot a couple of cities. My ideal situation here is the Sumerians send their two armies to go fight that Seleucid army. They lose, take heavy casualties, fall back, and then I just clean up the Sumerians and take their land. And then the Parthians take out that last Seleucid settlement in this area. So since that's my ideal situation, let's plan for everything else. Okay, Parthia... Oh, it's no longer possible. Okay, the Seleucids actually made an attack. That is unfortunate. These guys should not have run away. But it's drawing the Sumerians this direction, which is perfect.
Ready for battle. Advance. We hunger for battle. Ready for battle. Ready for battle. At your command.
I'm actually going to send these guys... No, I'm not going to send them into the mountains. It doesn't say they'll take attrition, but it's winter and I don't trust this game sometimes. Samaria should probably be able to take a city here. You know what, I might play it a little bit slow and just see how this situation plays out with these three.
Commander. At your command. Get the stakes up. Ready for orders, Commander. At once.
That may have changed my game plan just a little bit. So we're going to have a rebellion in Mesopotamia. I don't really care. We're going to have a rebellion down in Dura, Palmyra eventually. I don't really care about that. A major problem here is slaves, but we can't do an edict to sell slaves because we don't own the province. Syria is in the negative. Why? Okay, let's go ahead and upgrade this. We've got more than enough food to do it. And then out here, public order. Again, we have more than enough food. And I need to remember that my edicts are doing public order right now. So the public order is actually lower than what it looks like. I wonder if I can get non-aggression with Parthia.
Please accept as a most humble...
Nope. Okay. Alright. Well, we're geared up and ready to go. I know it's been a little bit of a slow episode, but these kinds of things have to happen in this mod because if you're not stable, then you can't sustain an offensive. And so when you take massive casualties in your initial engagement, you just can't replenish it. You can't replenish and you can't recruit, and you just run out of steam and end up losing because the AI doesn't have that problem. So I think I'll end this turn here, end the episode, and then in the next one we should probably see the start of the Sumerian Wars. So yeah, anyway, this episode a little bit slow, but we're building up towards a battle against
We
a faction that
ask
is
for a
reasonably
simple,
powerful.
modest subsidy to help our people in a dark. Have not omens shown that the gods will welcome a
So
treaty?
we should start
Do
to
not
have some
offend
fun
the gods,
battles
I
coming
beg
in
you.
pretty quickly. See if we can get as much money out of these guys as possible, because we're gonna need all the money we can get going into this battle, or these battles. Okay, a rebellion dealing with itself on a garrison. That is perfect. Just saves my armies from having to do anything about it. Unfortunately, they're not gonna die, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, so we're in a pretty good situation. We've got a lot coming up really soon, and we will see what we can get done in the next episode.